Right, so we're at 8 o'clock. I think that's everybody here. I'm just going to check this meeting's not locked. Yeah, we're all good. Cool. Lovely. So just a little word of warning for tonight's class. When we finish, we're going to do a pose called Buried Shavasana. And that involves you having you're going to use your props and you're going to place them on top of you. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it creates the same sense that you might have heard about the weighted blankets provide. So it's incredibly soothing and it helps you feel really safe and grounded. But some of the wording that I use is about kind of becoming one with the earth and sinking down and having earth on top of you. So people who feel claustrophobic, you might want to zone out a little bit when I'm talking to you there. And also if you, obviously at the moment there's a lot of talk of death. And it is about, embodying that sense of being, being one with the earth and sinking down. So just a little word of warning if either of those two issues are something that you might be sensitive about at the moment, that towards the end you might want to kind of turn the volume down as we move into the buried shavasana and just have your own experience rather than maybe the one I'm guiding you through. But other than that, let's get going. All right, one more check just to see if we're good. I think we are. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, bring yourself to lie down on your mat and get as comfortable as you can. And just make sure that you can still see me. Because I'm going to demonstrate a couple of things to you. So even if it just means lifting your head up so that you can see me in a moment. But first of all, just come down. Okay, so let's start off by taking 3 deep breaths in through the nose. And as you let it go through the mouth, take a nice big sigh and feel yourself sinking into the ground. Notice all those points where your body is in contact with the ground and allow the weight of the body to press down a little heavier into the ground as you take those exhalations, and just make yourself nice and comfortable. Okay, so now you've taken those 3 deep breaths, check in on a physical and emotional level. How are you doing? And then, how are you really doing? I always feel it's helpful to ask a couple of times just to show you that I mean it. And to show yourself that you mean it. Notice how it feels to be on the ground, to feel the weight of the ground pressing up as you allow the weight of your body to press down into the ground. The ground is vast. And it's more than able to support you. It may be that some of what you're experiencing physically or emotionally is maybe a lack of feeling safe or supported or secure. And so in tonight's practice we're going to work on that. I'm going to use the qualities of the root chakra located at the base of the spine, some meditation, some wonderful poses. And as we look to ground ourselves using these practices, it helps you find that place within yourself where you can always rely to feel safe, knowing that you've always got yourself to fall back on. to hold you up when times are tough. Paying attention to those things around you that create the space for you to be able to even do this practice. So now you've been here for a few moments, start to bring a little control to your breathing. Maybe make those breaths a bit deeper. As you breathe deeper down, you might start to become aware of some areas in your life that you don't feel safe, where you're lacking that stability. So allow those feelings to come up. This can be all manner of things. It can be not feeling safe financially, which is clearly very justified at the moment. Maybe not feeling safe in relationships, in your job, with your health. There's loads of threats at the moment and they're very real. But as we go through this time, you can also become aware of some internal threats. Things that maybe don't seem that real, and yet they feel incredibly real. Maybe things from the past that are sticking around, that have reared their ugly head just at the worst time, as you've got all this other crap to deal with. So try to allow some of that stuff to surface now, and let's see if we can soothe some of it. Help you feel safe, stable and strong once again. So I'm going to show you a technique right now which will help bring your nervous system back into balance, help you move out of that fight or flight state that you might be in, and even bring you up out of a deep state of shutdown. And it can have all kinds of physiological impacts as well as emotional, but try to let go of any expectations and just see if this has any bearing on how you feel right now. So what I'd like you to do is, just as a little test before we do anything, is turn your head as far as you can over to the right, noticing any stiffness there, and then bring it back to centre and turn the head over to the left. Once again, noticing any stuckness, any tension, maybe noticing a difference between the sides. You might want to try that again, going through the right and the left. Oh, we hold so much in the neck. Okay, so once you've checked in with any differences, any tension there, what I'd like you to do is bring your hands and interlace the fingers and then bring them round the back of the head. So that point where your head is in contact with the ground, that little bone at the base of the brain, have your fingers resting against that, and then your knuckles resting against the ground, and having the elbows out to the side. So we're going to keep the head perfectly still. And what I'd like you to do while keeping the head perfectly still, take your eyes as far to the right as you can without too much strain, so just the eyes moving. And as you do, just wait patiently for anywhere up to 60 seconds until you get a sensation which might feel like a yawn, a sigh, or a swallow. It'll just feel like something wants to give. And it may be that you don't experience anything as noticeable as a yawn, a sigh, or a swallow, but even just the sensation that you would like to. It usually takes around 30 to 60 seconds, so we'll just be patient. And if you've had that sensation, then just bring your eyes back to the centre and wait for the rest of us to join. worry too much about what's going on here. I'm just going to wait another 15 seconds for anybody that might be taking a little while longer to experience that sensation. And if you don't feel anything, don't worry, that's a good sign. Another 5 seconds. And now bring your eyes back to centre, and then we're going to take the eyes now over to the left, just the eyes. Gaze in as far to the left as you can without strain. And as you do so, just waiting once again for the yawn, the sigh or the swallow, or even just a sensation that feels like it's going to be a yawn, a sigh or a swallow. As I said earlier, it can take anywhere between 30 and 60 seconds, maybe less. Just waiting for a sense of release. Another 15. And if you've got that release, then just bring yourself so that the eyes come back to centre and wait a moment. 5 seconds. And bringing the eyes back to centre now. From here, just release your hands. And then we're going to try that tipping of the head to the right. Maybe you notice a difference here. Come to centre and going over to the left. So noticing here if there's a bigger range of movement in the neck. Maybe one side, go to the right again and to the left. So what often can happen here is that as we release some of the nerves that attach into the cranium, we can reset your nervous system, and that can be noted by an increased range of movement in the neck. It may be that you didn't notice anything, and that probably suggests that your nervous system was in a state of social engagement, which is kind of our ideal state. It's where we function the best. And if you did notice a release and then you did notice an increased range of movement in your neck, it's a way of trying to send a message to the nervous system that it can release, that things are safe, that you're okay, and it allows your body to return to normal function. It brings that balance back. But like I say, if you didn't really experience any difference there, then it probably means that you were already in a relatively balanced state of social engagement. So if anybody's interested in that technique, I will send it to you upon request. Okay, so from here, bring yourself against the wall or your bed or anything where you can place one foot against the wall. You won't need any of your props other than your strap or equivalent prop. And then we're going to lie down and we're going to have your left foot pressing against the wall very gently. I think you can all see me there. I hope so. Yeah. And then we're going to bend the right knee. So we just want your foot gently pressing against the wall. Bending the right knee and take the middle of your strap or equivalent prop around the sole of the foot, and we're going to lift the right leg up to the ceiling. Make sure there's a bit of tension in your strap. The leg as straight as you can get it, but try not to lock out the knee. And we want your elbows on the floor if possible. So head, back, shoulder blades and elbows on the floor. And then we're going to use the tension in the strap as the prop here to keep you in this position. And maybe a gentle press against the wall with that left foot, or your sofa, or your bed, or whatever it is. And then close your eyes. So with the foot gently pressing against the wall and the strap, and the tension in the strap, you can keep yourself in this position. And then just come back into your breath. Don't worry if you've got a big bend in that knee. It might be that the back of the legs are tight. As long as you're feeling a bit of a stretch in the back of that right leg, and the ability to connect with the wall and the floor is there, we're all good. Coming back into your breath. So trying to keep as still as possible and use that tension in the strap to keep you in position. So your root chakra, or Muladhara, root support, is the base chakra, encircling the tip of the tailbone and the pelvic floor, and it's connected to our groundedness and most basic stability in life, as well as in relationships. When Muladhara is in balance, we feel steady no matter what life throws at us. And we're at home wherever we go. We have that sense of feeling at home. Indeed, any restorative yoga practice might be seen as a way to practice balance in Muladhara by bringing us close to the earth in relaxing poses and giving us enough time in each pose to be able to sink into the home of our own centre, to come back to our centre. And in any restorative practice, we amplify these benefits by consciously directing our attention to various points in the body and varying meditative foci, all the while providing extra support for our feet and our legs, which so often serve as our foundations. And so, as I've already mentioned, this practice can be particularly valuable at times when we're feeling unsettled, uncertain, and particularly depleted. So just take another couple of breaths on this side and start to prepare yourself for moving on to the other side. And to do so, just lift up the arms to release the tension in the strap, bending your right knee, and then we're going to switch the legs as you press your right heel into the ground, and the wall. Bending the left knee as you take your strap around the sole of the left foot, straightening up your left foot, bring enough tension into your strap, bringing the elbows down to the ground, making sure there's tension in the strap so that you can straighten up that left leg as much as possible. Coming on to the other side. Once again, don't worry too much if there's a bend in that knee. Tight hamstrings are very common. And settle back into your breath. So bring your attention now to the tip of your tailbone, part of the province of the Muladhara, the chakra which is the foundation for all of the chakras. The tailbone itself is the foundation of an elongated neutral spine. It's no surprise that the back of the head and the tailbone are linked. The technique I just showed you was one that was developed from craniosacral therapy, cranium and sacrum. And so we look to lengthen these 2 points away from each other, elongating the spine. Still honouring the natural curves in the spine, so noticing that gentle arch in the lower back. And this is the space and the shape that best supports that inner spaciousness. And it serves as a kind of spindle for the other chakras. Can you feel that when the tailbone tips back onto the mat, the lower back goes deeper into that curve? And then when the bottommost tip of the tailbone lengthens forward towards the wall, it can feel easier to reach back through the crown of the head. Thinking about that foot that's against the wall, serving as another foundation. As you press that foot into the wall, can you still find more length in that space between your tailbone and the top of the head? As you take your last few breaths here, which other parts of your body serve as foundations in this pose? And what in life makes up your foundation? Allow yourself this time to notice everything and everyone that you have supporting you. All making it possible for you to be here, to relax into this moment. Taking your last 3 breaths here in this pose. And in order to release from the pose, lifting the arms up to release the tension in the strap, bend your knee, take the strap out to the side, maybe hugging both knees into the chest, and then coming over onto whichever side feels good before coming up onto your hands, onto your knees. And then we're going to create a little bolster ramp as you come into this amazing supported child's pose. So taking 1 block or 2 in front of you, and then your pillow or cushion. Make this as high as you want, okay? It's fine. And then with your blanket or a cushion, it's up to you, we're going to create a roll just with half of your blanket. So creating this roll here, which you're then going to place into the hip flexors there. So right into that hip crease, nicely supported. If you haven't got your blanket, don't worry, it's fine. And then we're going to bring your ramp up towards you. So just have the knees as wide as feels good for you. Make sure that this this blanket's tucked into the hip crease there. And then we're going to fold forward, and you can have your head on the side, or bring the head so that it's on your blocks or the chin. Have a little wriggle about and settle yourself into this pose. And then if you can reach your arms down onto the floor, then do so, even just the hands, so that you feel connected to the ground through the shins, the feet, the hands, maybe the arms. And allow yourself to let go. Nice. Coming back into your breath. Nice deep breaths. So the reason that we're facing the earth in this pose is because the element associated with Muladhara, your root chakra, is earth. As you rest towards the ground, almost as if checking it's there, holding you, supporting you. Allow yourself to attune to the presence of the earth beneath you. This solid, enormous planet, lumbering through space, but still holding you. It's been holding you all along. Become heavy in this pose. Give your weight to the props, to the ground. Take a scan and see if you're resisting or gripping anywhere, whether that be physically, emotionally. Are you in some way trying to hold yourself up? Begin to relent. Give the work of supporting you to the earth. Let go. And if your mind wanders, come back to the sensation of the earth beneath you, holding you, and use your breath to bring deeper relaxation into the body and a further relenting, a further giving up of any control, holding on your exhalation. Taking another 5 breaths here. Taking those 5 breaths, pressing into the hands to bring yourself back up nice and slowly. Remove your blanket out to the side and we're going to keep your ramp as it is and we're going to bring it, if you've got a wall, then against the wall or equivalent, having it about 2 feet away from the wall. And then bringing your bottom up against the wall, so one of your bum cheeks against the wall. And then we're going to swivel round while you keep your bottom close to the wall. And then reclining over your ramp, bringing the feet up. Now those of you who don't have anything to rest your feet against here, then what you can do, I'll show you this way. Is use either a cushion or a block, again about 2 feet away from your ramp. And then we bring the bum onto this support here before coming back onto your ramp Might need to do a little bit of adjustment here. It's worth it, I promise you. And then from here, making sure your sacrum's supported, we're going to lift the legs up above the head, have a little wriggle about, and turn the palms to face up, whichever position you've taken. If you've got the wall there, rest the backs of the heels against the wall, make sure your bum's there too. Those of you who are feeling a little too open over the chest, maybe remove one of the layers off your ramp. And if you're feeling like the hamstrings are excessively stretched here, again, remove a layer from your ramp. Just lowering the back down a little bit to decrease the stretch over that posterior chain, just around the back of the body. And taking your time to relax into this pose. This pose is the pose, I think, of restorative yoga. It's amazing. Those legs and feet, which act as your connection to the ground, finally getting a rest. Coming into your breath. Feel the tension dripping from the toes, the feet, ankles, calves and shins, the knees, backs and fronts of the thighs, all dripping down like candle wax, pooling around your root chakra, and then let all of that tension pass into the ground. Give it to the earth. It's big enough to take that tension, to relieve you. So from here we're going to move into the next variation of this pose before I take you into the next meditation. So all of these variations are optional here. If you want to stay as you are, then do so. But it might work for you to widen the feet and bring the legs apart, coming into a deeper variation here. See how it feels. And coming back into your breath. So the organ of knowledge for Muladhara is the nose. With your eyes closed, take your gaze down to the tip of the nose. Begin to pay attention to the sensation of air as it goes in through your nostrils as you breathe. The breath is reassuringly constant. Like a home you get to take with you wherever you go. You keep inhaling, you keep exhaling. As long as you are here, your breath will be here. We can move into another variation of this pose now if it feels good for you, or choose to stay where you are. Just an option. And for here, keeping those knees wide, we bring the feet together in a reclined butterfly pose. This one's a little trickier to do without the wall. And if you find it's too much, And just move back into one of the other variations. Coming back into that breath, gazing towards the tip of your nose. Coming back to your home, to your breath. Always there, always with you. You might be breathing more slowly and deeply now. Perhaps imagining that you are smelling something wonderful. The sense associated with Muladhara is smell. To further your relaxation, imagine a fragrance you associate with home. A welcoming smell you remember softening you completely. The very sensation of that smell welcoming you home as soon as it enters the nostrils. Another 3 breaths. And then bringing the knees together if they're not already. Bending the knees if the legs are still straight. Hugging the knees towards the chest. Have a moment here. And then from here, if you're at the wall, just coming over onto one side. Actually, if you're away from the wall, coming over onto one side as well. And taking a moment there before pressing yourself up to seated. And then from here, those who have a wall, we're going to move your ramp a little further back so that it's around about 3 feet from the wall. So this is going to be for your bum. And then we're going to bring a block or one of your other cushions about 1 foot away from the wall. So what we're doing here, the 2 points that are going to come onto the props here, bum, the one furthest away from the wall, and the calves on the one nearest the wall, with your feet pressing on the wall. And if you're not at the wall, it doesn't matter, you can still go for this formation. Bringing your bum onto the higher of the 2 props, and then the backs of your calves onto the other, and then recline yourself back onto your elbows before bringing the upper back onto the ground, coming into a supported bridge pose. But I want you to be able to, if you have a wall or equivalent, feel your feet pressing against that wall. And then release into the pose. So the hips and the heart higher than the head. Coming into your fully supported bridge pose. And having the sensation of the feet against the wall. Or the sofa or the bed or whatever it might be. If you feel that the hips are too high, then lower yourself down. And coming into your breath. Take your time to get comfortable. It's all good. So, We often talk about lotus flowers when working with the chakras, and as we move up the chakras, the number of petals on each of the representative lotus flowers increases. And with the root chakra, Muladhara, there are 4 petals. So imagine now 2 4-petaled lotus flowers at the feet. The feet being your usual foundation, and often serving as a foundation in your yoga practice. Also imagining 2 4-petaled lotuses at the hands, which again are often the foundation in your yoga practice, particularly in a power yoga practice, if any of you might practice with me regularly. See these 4 4-petaled lotuses spinning round at the feet and the hands. The petals unfurling until the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands feel soft and wide, almost as if they could breathe. We'll continue this visualization as you might then imagine a 4-petaled lotus flower at your heart, in the center of your chest. The petals gently spreading. Continuing the visualization of the 4-petaled lotus flowers, now 1 each over your eyes, spinning, almost breathing, and then 1 at your forehead. Those 4 silken petals opening around the center of your smooth, unwrinkled, relaxed forehead. Taking another 5 breaths in this pose. When you've taken your 5 breaths, bend in the knees, pressing the feet into the ground in order to remove the props from underneath you. Taking your block, which was supporting the calves, out to the side, and then bringing yourself into the Shavasana, which isn't the final Shavasana, but a one that we're going to use here just to allow you to neutralize that spine after your supported back bend there. Coming back down onto the ground. The feet still pressing against the wall if you have one there. Notice the toes, the balls and the heels of the feet pressing into the wall, the backs of the hands pressing into the ground. Your sacrum back on the ground. Shoulder blades, backs of the arms. back of the head on the ground. Coming back into your breath. The mantra for Muladhara is Lam. You might repeat this sound to yourself, even if you don't say it aloud. As you say it to yourself, can you feel its reverberations at the pelvic floor and the tip of your tailbone? Lam, 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 Lam. After repeating this sound, mentally or aloud, but with consciousness, you might find that it seems to continue by itself, like a stone you gently pushed, a stone that now rolls by itself. Lam, Lam, Lam. You might imagine the sound Lam rolling all the way up to your spine, clearing any blockages to the upward passage of energy. Lam, Lam, Lam. Taking 5 more breaths here. And when you've taken those 5 breaths, just gaze in towards me and then finding your strap and taking the strap around the ankles. Now, if you have a strap and you can use the D-rings, do so. Otherwise, just use whatever else you have and tie a loose knot just so that the ankles stay together. And then we're going to bring your blanket onto your chest, so you feel a weight here, and then bring in 1 or 2 pillows between the knees, and then reclining back into this reverse child's pose. I think I might have made that look easier than it is. If you have a wall, you can bring those feet against the wall. It will feel a little bit like it did earlier, but this time even more supported behind the knees with your pillows. Starting to feel the weight now of the props pressing down on you. And coming back into your breath. So further associations with root chakra. Now using colour, the colour red. Not only is red associated with Muladhara, it's said to nurture Muladhara, your root chakra. Bring your attention once again to the tip of the tailbone. And once you're there, imagine a red light, brilliant and warm. That red light begins to make its way, its slow way up your spine. Once the light has moved to the top of the neck, imagine it filling your head. Visualize red light, like the light that shines through stained glass behind your closed eyelids. Imagine your whole being suffused with red light, into which the last of your tension dissolves. The last of your physical tension dissolves. The last of your thoughts dissolve. Another 5 breaths here. When you've taken that 5th breath, lifting up the feet as you remove your props from behind the knees. Release your legs down the mat. Keep the feet bound by your strap. Straightening out the legs, but still keeping those feet pressing against the wall. And then from here we're going to come into your buried Shavasana. So lifting up as you bring your props along the body. Maybe placing a bit of extra weight. Taking your blanket over the top. So just so that you feel some weight on top of your body. And then coming down. Allow the feet to flop out to the side, pressing against your wall. Feeling the weight of the props on your body. The backs of the hands on the ground, palms facing up. And come into stillness, coming back into your breath. Relax and let go. might imagine now that you are weighted with soft earth, slowly becoming part of the earth as it settles and shifts and breathes. You are the sun-warmed soil. Your skin is the grass in the breeze. Press down gently. You allow yourself to sprawl. You allow your sense of here to widen until it seems that you are the peat and the deserts too. You are the earth under the ice, and you are the earth under the ocean. You soon find yourself descending through the levels of your relaxation as if pulled down magnetically until you rest in your own core, where you are warm and strong and untroubled by the disturbances at your surface, thousands of miles above. Bring your attention to your root chakra. See once again a tiny ball of red energy spinning there. See this energy as a red pin of light. On your next natural in-breath, expand this light so that it envelops your lower body. See this deep red light grow to surround your body, its energy swirling in a circular motion around your body. Allow this red healing light to move through you and around you, bathing your body in crimson light. The red light fully surrounding you. You are connected to the earth. You are grounded and centered. You belong. You trust in love and in life. everything you need to live your life fully. You trust that your needs are met. You feel secure financially. You feel supported by those around you. You feel supported by the universe. You are grateful and experience abundance. Energize these affirmations as you spend the next few minutes in silence, as you continue to keep this healing light energized. As you breathe, ribbons of this beautiful light touch your lower spine, legs and feet. As we near the end of your practice, I'd like to read to you one of my favourite meditations, the Mountain Meditation by John Kabat-Zinn. This encourages us to seek inner stability and peace, even in the face of unpredictable change and chaos. To fully experience this meditation, we'll do it from a seated position, and so before you bring yourself back up, I'd like you to first of all imagine bringing yourself to a seated position, still feeling connected to the ground, knowing that you could be anywhere on it and you would be at home. Keeping your eyes closed. Gently start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And gently remove the props from on top of your body. Take a moment here, keeping yourself nice and still. Come back into your breath. Use the energy of the breath to bring some movement back into the body, just enough so that you can come over onto one side. And then bringing yourself up to seated with the eyes still closed. Keep that connection to the ground. And if you need to take one of your props in order to elevate the hips so that you can sit comfortably, then do so. Have a little wriggle about just to make sure that you're comfortable, and then come back into the stillness of your seated meditation pose now. Feeling lighter, but still connected to the ground. And allowing your head to drop towards the chest so that the back of the neck is nice and long. Not forcing this, just gently gazing toward the ground through your closed eyelids. Bringing your attention to the surface beneath you and the support it provides. As you sit here strong and proud, root your body into its strength and become aware of your connection to your body, complete, whole, and in this moment you are grounded. Begin to visualize a grand mountain whose peaks pierce smoky clouds and continue upward where the air is clear and the view is endless. A mountain with slopes that are both jagged and gentle, supported by a vast foundation rooted deep in the bedrock of the earth. This mountain is a monument to all that is solid, ground, unmoving, and beautiful. Are there trees on your mountain? Does slow snow blanket the lofty heights? Perhaps waterfalls cascade as mist into an open sky. However your mountain is, let it be as it is. Perfection in its creation. Be this mountain and share in its stillness. Grounded in your posture, the crown of your head, its skyward peak, supported by the rest of your body, granting you an awe-inspiring perspective of the landscape before you, behind you, and about you, which flows from your centre into the horizon. Be this mountain. Take on the stability of the mountain as your own body, from the top of your crown down your neck and into the balance of your shoulders like cliffs, descending into your arms and forearms, coming to rest in the valley of your hands. Be the mountain, your feet, legs and hips its base, solid, rooted beneath you, a foundation extending up your spine and abdomen, a core of stability. The rhythm of your breath is all that moves you. A living mountain, alive and aware, yet unwavering in inner stillness, completely what you are, beyond words and thought, a centered, grounded, unmovable presence. A mountain which witnesses the sun travel across the sky, casting light and shadows and colours across its consistent composure, moment by moment in the mountain stillness. The surface teems with life and activity. Snows melt, streams run down its face, trees and flowers bloom and die and bloom again as the wildlife returns and departs with the seasons. Be the mountain who will be called beautiful and inspiring and dark and ominous, and knows that it is all of these things and more and less. Be the mountain which sits and sees how night follows day and back again, which knows the sun by the warmth it brings as it rises, and the stars by the way they show in a darkened sky. Through all of this, the mountain sits, aware of the changes that each moment brings, around it and to it. And yet it remains still, still as the seasons flow one into the other, and the air swirls from hot and cold, and the weather turns from tame to turbulent, some so treacherous as to tear at the mountain's surface. Still none of this concerns the mountain, whose serenity is housed within and cannot be disturbed by fleeting furore. And in the same way, as you sit in meditation, you can learn to experience the mountain as a means to embody the same centered, unwavering stillness and groundedness in the face of all the changes in your life, over seconds, hours and years. Like the mountain, you will experience the changing nature of your mind and body, and of the world around you. You will have periods varying in intensity, of darkness and light, of activity and inactivity, and moments that fill your life with colour. Through all of it, be the mountain and call on its patient strength and stability within you. Let it empower you to encounter each moment with mindful composure and compassionate clarity. Bringing the hands together into prayer position with the thumbs resting against your sternum in the centre of your chest. We'll finish with a final grounding and centering practice of gratitude. First of all, as you inhale, bring into mind a challenge or conflict in your life and express gratitude for the strength that this challenge and conflict will allow you to build Allow you to express that deep inner strength and feel it to get you through whatever challenge or conflict you face. Taking another breath in and bringing to mind those things around you that allow you to be here in this meditation, to be in your life, those that support you. Be grateful for their presence. And now, most importantly, as you take your next breath in, bring to mind something about you that you're grateful for. Something about you deep down in your core that you recognize as valuable, essential. Something that you love about yourself. And to close the practice, we'll take a breath together, drawing that breath up through your root chakra, and feel that breath travel up through the spine, all the way out the top of the head. Feeling restored, energized, centered, grounded, safe. Gently blinking the eyes open. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me tonight. Namaste. Well done, guys. I will see you soon. Have a lovely few days until I see you next. Take care. Bye-bye. Lots of love, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks to all the YouTubers. Wonderful to have so many of you here tonight, and I will see you soon. Take care.